I'm Richard Westlake of Westlake Governance. We're the independent reviewers on the GNSO review, and our draft report is now available on ICANN's website for you to read and to provide any feedback that you want to, any comments, any feedback. The public comment period is going to be open until the 20th of July, so I do encourage you to take a look at it. Our report is broken into several sections. At the start is a summary of our report. This gives you a very brief overview of the entire review. What it does include, though, is all 36 recommendations that we've made, and then at the end of it, we've grouped those 36 recommendations into the 4 key themes that have emerged. The first of those key themes is participation and representation. The second is continuous development, and within that, some aspects around the policy development process. The third theme that emerged was around transparency, and the fourth and final theme, with just a couple of recommendations in it, is alignment of the GNSO with ICANN's future. Please, if you can, have a look through the entire report. There's a lot of material in there with some supporting appendices as well. To help you to start with, we've done the reviews of the report summary and the recommendations. After that, we've provided you a short chapter on the context for the review, which includes how we got there from previous reviews and the methodology that we've used. Over the last several months, we've attended 3 ICANN meetings, we've observed several stakeholder group meetings, several constituency meetings, and meetings of the GNSO Council itself. And we have not only conducted the 360 surveys, thank you to the 250 people who participated and the 140 roughly who provided full responses, plus the supplementary working group survey. On top of that, we have interviewed about 40 people, which is a lot more than we originally expected to. And we've reviewed a lot of information that's on the ICANN website and previous reviews. So we've tried to get as broad a perspective as possible in order to form our conclusions and to produce our recommendations. The substantive part of our report follows the sequence provided by previous reviews of the GNSO, and in particular, the most recent set of recommendations from the board's governance committee to the board. These have pretty much established the way in which the GNSO now operates. So we have taken each of those steps in turn and have provided our assessment of how effective they've been, where there may still be room for improvement, and we've provided our recommendations where that seems to be appropriate. The first component of it was to adopt a working group model, which is now forms the basis of the GNSO's main operations. Secondly, we've looked at the recommendations to revise the policy development process, the PDP, and we've provided some recommendations there as to how we think it could be made more effective again. The third part was to restructure the GNSO Council. This has led to the 2-house, 4-stakeholder, multiple constituency structure, and we've both assessed what we believe is the effectiveness of that structure, how it works, and the council, and some recommendations there for improvements in how it could work. The next component was to enhance the function, the effectiveness, the operation of constituencies themselves, to make it easier for constituencies to be created and potentially to disappear. And the fifth aspect of previous reviews was to look at how relationships, communications, coordination between the GNSO and other arms of ICANN could be made more effective. That's with the board itself, with other advisory committees, and with other supporting organisations. The final chapter of our report addresses the changing environment that the GNSO operates in. And in particular, it looks at the changing nature of the internet itself, the overall structure of the internet, the diversity of participation, the growth in participation, and how the GNSO is remaining current, is remaining topical, and can continue to do so, to remain topical and relevant to all users of the internet. We've looked at issues around diversity of internet usage. We've looked at some of the other areas where ICANN itself has been involved, the introduction of internationalized domain names, and also of the new generic, well, not so new anymore, of the new generic top-level domain names. And we've provided some recommendations on how we believe that the GNSO needs to adapt over the future in order to remain relevant to that new environment. Finally, the aspect that we've covered is around the GNSO structure. This was not within our original terms of reference, but so many people did raise it with us that we thought it was necessary to provide some commentary. We don't believe that the structure of the GNSO itself is the biggest issue that needs to be faced at the moment, and we do know that structural issues can become huge distractions. So if we tried to provide our recommendations on things where we believe the GNSO's effectiveness can be improved, but we have provided some commentary, and just because we haven't recommended changes, of course, that doesn't mean that the GNSO can't take responsibility for that itself. And if you decide, either as a result of this report or as a result of other discussions, if you decide changes to the structure are needed, well, that of course is over to the GNSO Council and its various community members. So in summary, please take a look at our report, our draft report. It's there on the ICANN website. There is a wiki there for you to provide your commentary, to provide your feedback, anything that you think we need to be aware of. The public comments period closes on the 20th of July, and we look forward to providing our final report, which will be available in early August.